I'm MarzGurl.
I'm JoshKnightTheFirst.
And welcome to episode 123 of MokkoriPlay, the only podcast dedicated solely to all things City Hunter.
On today's podcast, we're going to cover Season 3, Episode 7 of City Hunter, titled, Love is Diving, When a Beauty Puts on a Swimsuit.
Bathing suits are fun.
This time we only get one bathing suit.
It's really not even there for that long.
Well, at least the bathing suit in this episode has more of a reason to be there than the cat in last week's episode.
I don't know, it's about an equal amount of time as the cat. In fact, the cat might have been on screen longer than this bathing suit.
But at least the bathing suit represents something. The cat is just there for Umibozu, and that's literally it.
This swimsuit doesn't have a whole hell of a lot to do with the plot.
Well, no, but at least it's significant for at least one character and their character growth, as we're told.
I guess? We don't see her put it on a second time.
Yeah, we do. Well,
no, we do
not.
No,
I guess we don't.
No, we do not.
Huh. Funny that. Anyway, hi guys, we're back.
We're back.
In pod form. We're here to talk to you guys about City Hunter once again. And before we get into this episode, we do have a little something to bring up about City Hunter news. No, it's not about Angel Dust. We're still waiting on that, and I'm still salty that we don't have subs over here officially.
I know. I mean, one group of people got to see subtitles, and who knows where they're gonna go in the future. Who knows, it might end up being like that Phoenix Wright movie that got like one screening somewhere, and then it just disappeared forever.
And I think it only got released in the UK, I think.
Maybe, something like that.
And, you know, I'm going to be straight up about it because you can't get it anywhere. That you had to go through other sources to see that movie. And you know what? For a Takashi Miike movie, it's not bad.
Oh, you mean Phoenix Wright? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
But you know what was another really good live-action adaptation? The Netflix City Hunter movie.
Yeah, and there's, strangely, news about that, considering that movie came out last year. Or was it earlier?
No, it was this year.
It was this year?
Yeah.
I don't know. Time doesn't mean anything.
If you guys want to know about that, we did a whole episode on that, about 3 times the length of our normal episodes, and we couldn't stop gushing about that even in episodes following. Again, it was on Netflix, so it's on streaming. You have a Netflix account, you can go watch it. Well, now, coming up at the end of the month, you have a chance to see it in theaters there in Japan.
In one of only 2 theaters for only 2 weeks. They're both Aeon Cinema theaters. One of them is in Tokyo and one of them is in Osaka. That's it. Those are your only places to go see it for only 2 weeks. But if you manage to go and you get there early enough in these screenings, you might get a limited edition postcard with official art by Tsukasa Hojo that you're not going to be able to get someplace else.
Now, some people were able to get this when the movie first dropped. It's that art of the poster. Instead of Ryohei Suzuki, though, it's Ryo drawn in the style of the manga, but he's dressed like he is in the movie.
Sure, yeah.
And so, funny that, who's gonna be in Japan there while this is in theaters again, Kaylin?
I'm gonna go.
You're gonna go. You're gonna try. You're gonna try and go see this thing in a theater.
So, like, it just kind of happened to time out that I just wanted to go to the Tokyo Game Show.
You just want to take a vacation for yourself.
It'll just be my 3rd time going to the Tokyo Game Show. You know, I've done too many trips where I go with other people that I just have to kind of play tour guide with all the time. And I was like, I don't want to do it anymore. I just want to go for me. And I just want to go to the Tokyo Game Show. And then it turned out that, like, a bunch of other things were timing out just right, like being able to go to this music festival called Agefare that's gonna have a bunch of Eurobeat at it, or I feel like there was something else, but like the City Hunter thing, for sure, yes.
Yes, so there's no guarantee yet, you're still working on that end.
Yeah, because right now, there's a few things hindering me. One, the website for the Aeon Cinema sure does not seem to like foreign IP addresses. So you gotta VPN into that shit. And then once you do, the calendar just doesn't show the movie on the theater listings at all right now.
I am sure once we get a little closer, because it's not that far away. I think it's only 3 weeks now.
It's like 2.5 weeks away.
2.5 weeks, yeah. So we'll find out sooner than later whether or not you're able to see this thing in a theater with other Japanese fans of City Hunter.
We'll see. I mean, fingers crossed. I'm gonna try and get that postcard. I hope, because, like, again, this is the most populated city on the planet, and there's only one theater, and it's only for 2 weeks, and they've only got so many postcards, so those screenings are gonna fill up, and those postcards are gonna disappear.
I look at it this way. We didn't know when we started doing this podcast that we would get Angel Dust, that we would get the Takarazuka performance, that we would even get this live-action adaptation, and yet those all timed out with when we decided to do this podcast.
I know.
So the fact that you're even going there practically the day of it opening in theaters.
Literally, I arrive the day that it starts.
Yeah,
so I did not plan that at all. That was not planned.
And if I remind viewers who have been listening to this podcast, you'll remember we tried to find the Ryo statue that was supposedly there in Shinjuku while we were there last November, and we couldn't find that damn thing.
Couldn't find it, although it apparently was there, and then we found out after we left, oh yeah, like we removed it like a month later. Well, so it was there somewhere.
And somehow we missed it.
We just could not figure out where the hell to go. So we screwed up. We just lost that one.
You get to go and get that little poster. That's retribution in my book.
I think it's weird that they're not putting it in Shinjuku.
That is weird. I'm like, granted, that's where the premiere happened.
Yeah.
And that's how you should do that. But it is a little weird that of all the places in Tokyo where you could screen it, Shinjuku's not the place.
No, it's in Chofu, which is not Shinjuku.
How far is that from Shinjuku?
Like 40 minutes or something?
Well, I mean, I guess it could be worse.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
But we'll see. We'll keep you guys updated on how that goes.
Okay, cool.
So now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about this week's episode, which happens to take place a lot on the water, but we're not starting out there necessarily out in open ocean.
But there is water.
There is a pool.
And there is a woman in a swimsuit, like the title says.
At the pool.
At the pool.
And specifically, this is back at Hotel Sun City, which is the more common hotel that we see in these City Hunter plots. And this woman is in this very high-cut swimsuit, very attractive woman wearing this very, very, very shiny necklace. Please remember the necklace. It will be important later.
The high cut, it's the leg. The leg is what is high cut.
Yes.
Like, all the way up to the hip bone, right? Like, I guess that was what was pushing boundaries at the time in, like, 1980. Just about to be 1990.
Whereas out here, you just go down to Venice Beach and you'll see that within about 5 minutes.
Yes.
And this woman, she's there. She looks very attractive there in the swimsuit, and she's kind of remarking to herself that she has an issue with being a little self-conscious about how revealing the suit is, and kind of speaking aloud, wow, I could never wear this in public. Because right now, the pool is empty save for her. Well, okay, that's not true. There is one other person there who is very happy to see her.
I mean, what was Ryo trying to do before he realized this woman was there? He was just like, I'm just gonna sit at this pool, drinking this can of beer, and just wait and see if a woman shows up.
So let's go ahead and establish something here. There isn't a case yet,
no.
Guys. There is no case happening right now. Ryo just happened to be at this seemingly empty pool with one other woman, and he's just there staring at her, drinking a beer. Why is Ryo there? Why was he there?
Kind of fucking weird, man.
It's a little weird. So Ryo, after he sees her get out of the pool and start talking about how self-conscious she is, he decides to make it worse by going over and trying to mac on her. Now granted, he's trying to put smoother game down. He's trying to be suave about it, like, wow, I didn't expect to see you here looking so fine and dandy. And she just runs off.
Yeah, for good reason. I would too. I don't want to be alone at a pool with some dude I don't know who's drinking a beer. Yeah, I would leave too.
Now, the thing that works in Ryo's favor here is that he looks better by comparison, because the next people, I should say, that this woman runs into after running away from Ryo is 3 dudes trying to accost her.
Yeah, it's a lot worse. It's dudes in, like, what, black suits and ties and stuff, like...
And they're trying to, like, make her come with them forcibly somewhere.
And she's screaming, and things are getting bad, but Ryo, of course, has brought his gun to the pool.
He doesn't need it initially, though. He throws his beer to knock the gun out of one of these guys' hands. These guys are armed.
This guy completely fell over because a beer can hit him in the head. So I'm gonna assume the beer can was mostly still full, because otherwise that doesn't make a lot of sense.
Now, these are 80s beer cans, so they're a little heavier made.
I guess so, but still, I don't think it would take the guy down to the floor.
But yes, Ryo manages to disarm these 3 dudes. They go running. He tries to check on this woman who, again, we don't know her name yet. We don't know hardly anything about her other than she's got this necklace and this swimsuit on. She runs off again from Ryo. This is the same thing that we ran into there in the Netflix City Hunter live-action adaptation. There at the beginning, even if Ryo has fended off all these other offenders, he's still sus on his own.
There's still somebody else in the pool area coming at him, and he's got to turn around as somebody's about to give him a kick to the face, and it turns out, oh, that's Sayako! And Sayako's like, oh, that's Ryo! But she can't stop her momentum of her kick.
And so she kicks him in the face.
And he's like, why did you do that? And she's like, sorry about that. Anyway, can't explain why I'm here. I gotta go too. Bye. Like, there's no explanation for what is going on here.
There's no explanation for why anybody's here right now. So we're led to assume that Sayako has a reason for being there because last I checked, she's a cop. And she's trying to do some cop stuff. So she's on some sort of case.
Well, there she goes to go do cop stuff elsewhere that we don't know about.
So we don't get an answer for what's going on right now. We flash some really weird cut in the animation. I don't know why they did it the way they did. It's very noticeable, almost like we came back from commercial break there on the Blu-ray disc. So we're back over at Ryo and Coyote's apartment. Coyote is trying to get Ryo up because apparently he slept till noon the next day, trying to sleep off what happened the night before. She's like, get your ass up. We got a client out in the living room. Come on down and meet him.
And he's just like, no, I got kicked to sleep last night. Just let me sleep this off. But he does come out. He gets dressed and he comes out. And it is the woman from the pool sitting on the couch.
Fully clothed.
Yeah, no, I mean, she's not in the swimsuit anymore, but, you know, she's there. And he's like, you're the lady from the pool. And she's like, you're the guy from the pool.
Coyote's like, oh, you two know each other? Ryo tells her, no, wait, don't worry about whether or not we know each other. You're letting me take on a female client? What's up with that?
And just kind of per usual, Kaori just explains, well, we kind of don't have enough money to be able to be picky right now. This is where we're at. Like, I don't have a choice.
Which does seem to be a recurring thing here in City Hunter 3, that they don't have a lot of clientele like they used to.
But that also kind of has just been true for a very long time.
But I think that's something that runs into City Hunter 91 as well, that they just have less and less clientele.
I don't know, this just seems really common anyway.
I mean, to be fair, like, they technically didn't have a case last week. They were just kind of sort of helping out Umibozu.
Oh, that's true.
So they have gone a bit without having a case.
Okay.
But we're introduced to this woman who we now know her name is Ayano, and she's a researcher helping a Dr. Jean-Louis Thoreau, an underwater research scientist aboard his vessel, the Laetitia.
You know, very much not Jacques Cousteau.
No, not Clouseau is the Pink Panther detective. No, Cousteau. Jacques Cousteau. I knew that was going to be the thing where your mind went.
I knew I was going to fuck it up. I was like, which one is which? Fuck. Damn it.
Clouseau. No, that's Peter Sellers.
Anyway, a French guy, he does shit underwater. You know, not the real guy, the fake guy.
To make it a lot easier, it's a long name to pronounce, Jean-Louis Thoreau, so I'm just going to call him JLT for short.
Okay, that's fine.
So Doc JLT over here has Ayano as his assistant, and apparently it's been made known that they were doing some research out in Hawaii, and their ship got raided for some reason they don't know, and those people are apparently still after them.
They don't say that it was pirates, but I mean, like, come on, if anybody's boarding your ship to try and fuck you up
in international waters,
it's pirates.
It's pirates, probably.
So anyway, they're preparing to ship back out to sea and do more research and shit, but they don't want to get fucked up by anybody while they're still in port in Japan, so
this is basically a bodyguard mission.
Yes.
And we do want to point out, while they're having this conversation, they're all there on the L-shaped couch in the living room. The animation is kind of low budget here.
Everybody's faces are really low detail, for sure.
Which is weird because later on in the episode we have some very detailed faces, but just here was the cost cutting, it seems.
I mean, every episode's got a little bit of that.
But this one more so, it was very apparent here at the top.
That's true.
So now we jump over to the ship, to the Laetitia, and they get on board, and we meet JLT, the doctor over here, who's this mustachioed guy, very nice, and very, very sweet on Coyote.
He's like, oh, you're very pretty, and Kaori is kind of into it, because Ryo never calls her pretty, so even though we know that Ryo doesn't actually think she's not pretty, but he's not gonna let anybody else think that right now.
And to be fair, JLT over here is an older gentleman, so his game is very smooth that he's laying down here for Coyote, like, oh, I've never met such a pretty mademoiselle, oh. So even here, they're doing very well with the French.
But still, old man, cut it out. Kaori is like 21.
No, she's a woman.
But like she's at least half his age, if not more.
No, you're probably right about that. Yeah. Okay, I take it back.
Yeah, you understand. Like, it's still kind of strange.
But of course, Ryo, he's somewhat bothered by that, but he's actually trying to keep an eye out for Ayano, who they see coming back towards the boat over on a sea-doo, a jet ski.
Yeah, like a jet ski, a standing jet ski. And Ryo's like, well, she's not in a swimsuit. But the scientist old man guy, he's like, well, she wouldn't be in a swimsuit. She doesn't even own a swimsuit. And anyway, she just really likes the sea. She doesn't like anybody else.
Yeah, she only has enough room in her heart for the ocean. Ryo is a little depressed that she's just wearing a wetsuit.
He gets over it pretty fast, though, because then he realizes, hey, wetsuits can be kind of hot.
Yeah, because once she gets back on the ship, he's behind her and about to reach for the booty, and he realizes he's gotten pretty close and has not made contact. He does not actually touch her, but he realizes by the time he's gotten that close, his Mokkori sense has not gone off, that there's not a hammer being swung at his head.
Which, I interpret that as he's been hit so many times he's had to learn what having a conscience is just by trying to avoid getting hurt.
But I argue against that because, as has now been established, he could absolutely duck any of Kaori's attacks whenever he wants to, but he knows what the give and take of their relationship is. So if it's about time for him to be hit with a hammer and he's not hit, she's distracted by something. And he's right about that, because when you look over to the other side of the ship, JLT is still laying the Mac on Kaori, and she's not against it. Now here, Ryo seems to be visibly disturbed that someone else is actually hitting on Kaori, and Ayano tells him, hey, you better be careful with your partner there. JLT over here, he moves pretty fast for an old man. And this is a little weird translation that we get here, that what Ryo says here, and he does say it there in the Japanese as well, is that, well, it's fine, I don't really care about that. He should take this nitro girl off my hands. And he uses that weird phrase, nitro girl.
Which, it is literal. That is literally what he says. It's kind of closer to a girl like Nitro. So, you gotta be careful because in our English context, there's specific women that have been dubbed Nitro girls.
Yeah, we're not talking about the dancing girls from WCW. We're not talking about that.
No, what he really means is more like an explosive woman. Which you can think of Kaori as like, oh, this is an explosive kind of a person.
Yeah, because when they say nitro, they mean like nitroglycerin, the explosive.
And yeah, Kaori's kind of volatile like that, she can be.
Which, I guess that's the word I was looking for when we were watching the episode, is volatile. That's how I would have translated that. Take this volatile girl off my hands.
Yeah, so they didn't translate it wrong, but you do have to sit there for a second and think, what do they really mean? And they just really mean an explosive, volatile person.
Yeah, which I think that flows a lot better in English instead of just taking what he said at face value. That's the thing you very much have to be aware of when you're adapting.
Yes, I would agree.
But yeah, Ryo blows it off like, oh, he can take this nitro girl off my hands. I'm interested in the Mokkori right in front of me. That's you, baby. And he tries to reach for Ayano, but she happens to be handling this oxygen tank.
Yeah, this diving tank, and just drops it right on his right foot. He gives this fantastic scream. It's just really good.
I can't get as high as he does.
No, but it's good. She takes him back into one of the rooms on the ship.
One of the cabins.
She's just continuously wrapping his foot, way overdoing
Now,
it.
to be fair, his foot is now comically, Looney Tune sized, overblown and red.
But also just over-bandaged.
That
way
too.
over-bandaged. And he's like, what, you think that I can't just get up and walk? You think I'm an invalid now? She just genuinely feels bad about it, because she was just nervous. She just didn't expect him to come at her the way that he did. And she doesn't necessarily think that he's, a big problem. She's just not used to this.
And so they're talking about this here, the two of them, Ayano and Ryo. And Ryo's saying, if you're always having knee-jerk reactions to that, whenever anybody shows interest in you, you'll never fall in love like that.
Yeah, but I'm over here, that's not even on her mind. Leave her alone. If she falls in love, she falls in love. Cut it out.
But she does also kind of say, well, I'm just kind of like that.
Yeah.
Now, after this, I don't know why we do this back and forth here, because it's kind of redundant, that she goes back up on deck, and she's again thinking about the swimsuit and feeling too self-conscious to wear it. And Rio comes up on deck, and again, he's trying the smooth talking right now. He's trying to tell her, there's something miraculous that happens between a man and a woman, and it makes you want to be more than what you are. It makes you want to be brave. You should be brave and put on that swimsuit.
And just take that one step forward into bravery. And she's like, 1 step forward, huh? And she takes it literally, and she takes a step forward, and probably half deliberately steps on that injured foot again.
As kind of a back of her mind defense mechanism. That's how I took it.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't know that she is totally conscious of it, but maybe a little bit.
Maybe a little. And now Cowdy is having to drag his ass back.
She is piggybacking him, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Cowdy can take all of Rio's, I imagine, 200 pounds just on her back.
I mean, think about all of the weight that she carries with those hammers all the time. She can definitely do this.
Yeah, so she can carry more than her fair share. And not just that, I want to talk about her fit here, because it's so weird. Like, we always try to refer to her as a fashion icon here on this podcast, but what she's wearing right now is somewhere halfway between Dr. Sattler in the first Jurassic Park movie and Cabin Boy, is what she's got on right now.
Yeah, this is definitely like a sailor youth.
Like the big shorts, she's got the socks pulled all the way up, the striped pirate shirt.
And like the hoodie that you would expect to wear if you're thinking, things might get wet on deck.
Yeah, I'm going to be catching fish on the Discovery Channel sort of jacket. And as this is happening, Cowdy's telling Ayano, hey, don't worry, I'll take it from here. I'll keep Rio away from you. But Ayano did kind of take some of what Rio said to heart, like, no, it's okay. I think I learned something from him right now. I kind of feel something. And so you don't know whether or not she's developing feelings just yet.
Oh, she is, though.
Yeah, that's where it's
Yes,
gonna go.
she is. And Kaori even is like, oh, you did? Oh, okay.
I mean, I guess. And it's just at this moment, a truck is pulling up with a bunch of boxes on the back. Like, this is like DHL delivery for these guys, right?
Yeah.
And so it's supposed to have on the back of this truck this marine chart graphing system that JLT needs to map the ocean better.
Yeah. It would be like 3D mapping of the bottom of the ocean.
Like sonar equipment or something, right?
Yeah. Just a ridiculously enormous late 1980s, early 1990s piece of equipment, okay? Unfortunately, they bring this giant old box up on the deck. It's 3 dudes carrying this thing up. The guy is like, is this really the thing that I asked for?
Like, this is too light of a box for what I ordered. Like, what's going on here?
And he's like, what? You don't like this gun in your face?
And it turns out it's the same 3 guys that tried to grab Ayano at the beginning of the episode.
Who saw that coming? Nobody saw that coming.
Oh, no.
Oh.
But specifically, they're looking for Ayano. There's like, where's that girl we saw earlier? And now, between the last scene where we saw him with the giant oversized foot to now, Rio's foot has now gotten better in the last, 5 minutes.
He's fine. He's also still got his gun.
So he's up on the top of the ship on the bow, shooting down at these guys to disarm them, but unfortunately, they've got Uzis, and they start blasting.
Yeah, but Rio has a gun.
Yeah, so
he's fine.
He's got Ayano with him. JLT on the other end.
He dives with Kaori.
And the smoothness on this guy. He dives with Cowdy to get out of the way of the burst of gunfire, but he's got his eyes trained on Cowdy. Like, he's looking at her like, oh, I've got dinner right in front of me. This is more than a snack here.
And he's just like, don't worry, ma'am, I was in the resistance once.
I have the strength to fight for beauty. And Cowdy's like, oh.
He takes off with her, and so they're fine. But Rio is like, okay, Ayano, you stay here. I gotta go. And he flings himself like off of, what are these like antenna poles or whatever?
Yeah, like an antenna, yeah.
Sticking off the top of this boat, and he just flings himself across the front of the boat.
And he's getting the kind of air that he seems to be able to get without help in the Netflix live-action movie.
Yeah.
Like, he makes this really big jump towards the end of the movie with seemingly no assistance, like 20 feet vertical.
Right.
But here, it makes sense because he's, like, springboarding himself, like pole vaulting himself. Mm-hmm. He lands in front of these 3 guys with the Uzis, and one bullet That's all it takes. One bullet disarms all three of them.
And then they're like, oh, fuck this. And they just jump into the water and swim away. So, that problem is solved pretty fast.
What's funny is when they get disarmed, there's the last guy in the row. He's got this really, like, Mr. Bill, oh no, kind of face.
Yeah, big ol' eyes.
So yeah, they've run off, and we're all trying to figure out, well, why are they specifically after Ayano? What's so important about her? She's the assistant, and we're over here watching like, it's the necklace. Where's the necklace?
Yeah.
You made it real obvious in the first 2 seconds of the show. It's the necklace. Can we just jump to that? No, we got to sit through the whole thing.
No, we gotta wait.
And JLT's over here assuring Ayano, well, don't worry. We've spoken to Mr. Sayaba here, and he's agreed to keep us safe until we leave port the day after tomorrow. And she's like, oh no, day after tomorrow, that means I'll have to say bye to him.
Well, you can see how quickly she has developed something for him.
And, like, Ryo had this on lock. He maybe used 2 bullets, right, in this whole thing?
Right.
But you know who else could have jumped in and helped? Sayako, who we see now is over on the dock.
She has been hiding out behind some warehouse on the docks, and she's just like,
She's got this shit-eating grin on.
Like, really, I think we could have solved this problem, like, right now. We could have wrapped this up right here.
Because clearly already we know Sayako knows what's going on. She knows who these guys are, she probably knows what they're looking for, and she is choosing not to do anything.
We could have solved this problem. She could have made some arrests right here. She could have explained to Ryo, like, okay, this is what the business is, and so this should help you finish this up a lot faster.
Like, they're in the water right now. I don't know that these guys are Olympic level swimmers. She could just go round them up.
She really could. Considering she apparently has jurisdiction literally fucking everywhere.
Right.
She could just get on a boat and just go, alright, I'm just gonna boat around you guys right here, and we're going downtown.
So it's the next morning, right? And the real graphing system shows up.
And it's enormous. It's just so large. It's so big.
NASA computers is what we're saying to you in the 1960s and 70s.
But now they can graph out, like, a music video for MTV that, uses this newfangled fucking geographical... We can make geometric shapes and shit.
We can make line graphs in different colors.
Yeah.
4 different colors. And what's funny is Cowdy is asked by JLT over here to help him hook all the cables up, and she's no good at this, which is weird.
She just gets all entangled.
Because I would think, based off these other City Hunter episodes where we see them have a little bit of advanced technology there around the apartment, that she might be a little savvy with it.
No, but we've already seen that she is bad at it, because you remember when she almost had a job at that bank or whatever, and they said, okay, now go get on this computer, and she fucked it up so bad that we saw a Gundam.
Oh, no, that's when she was at the newspaper.
Or, yeah, the newspaper.
Yeah. No, yeah, she did make a Gundam show up.
Yeah, she made a Gundam. She fucked up so bad that a Gundam showed up, and then she couldn't even work on a
fax.
A typing machine.
Oh, like, word processor.
Yeah, just a word processor. She fucked up a word processor.
No, you're right. Somehow I forgot about that. You are correct. So as they're setting up these cables, Cowdy just asks JLT to his face, hey, so how come you don't hit on Ayano? Like, she's pretty. And he tells her, well, I mean, she's not, like, she's just my partner. That's all there is to it. She's not even womanly. Like, that's not a thing.
I don't think of her very womanly. There's lots of other pretty women out there way prettier than her. She's just not old enough and mature enough to be a woman yet.
And also, I like Japanese women. Wink, wink.
But isn't Ayano at least kind of... She's Japanese,
yeah,
right? Like...
That's a little confusing, but that'll get cleared up in a bit. So once they get the computer working, everybody's looking for Ayano, like, hey, where'd she go? And here she comes into the control room where everybody else is, Ryo, Cowdy, and JLT. And now she's all dressed up like she's going to prom. Like, she's in this nice evening gown with, like, long gloves on. She's done her makeup, and she's like, Ryo, would you like to go to dinner at this fancy restaurant?
At this fancy restaurant on a different boat There's some boat out in the bay.
Somewhere close by.
With a restaurant on it. And it's interesting that she asked him after already getting dressed up for it.
Like, she was already prepared that he was going to say yes, which he does.
So I guess she took the correct gamble. It's just interesting that this is her first time ever asking anybody to do anything like this, and she took the correct gamble the first time.
Like, he's like, yeah, of course we can go to dinner. Let's go right now. And Cowdy starts to get a little jealous, but then it's at that very moment JLT, like, throws his arm around her, like, why don't you let this French man cook you dinner?
Oh, okay. I mean, dinner's great. Yeah, let's eat dinner. So everybody's got their own great dinner. Like, this is actually going really well for everybody.
And what's funny right here is we go to see the date starting for Ayano and Ryo over on this boat. And you know how we complain about the BGM sometimes? There's no French accordion this week.
Which actually, this would have been the place to put it.
Actually, yes, because there's French people in this episode.
And it's like a restaurant, like this is literally the only time this would have been appropriate.
It's so weird. But no, what we get this time, I don't think we've heard this track before, is some very late 80s, early 90s R&B going right now.
Yeah, it's somewhere on one of the soundtracks.
It's like this boom 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 ding.
And this woman's voice comes in singing in English.
Or some high-pitched dude. It's one or the other.
I think it's a woman.
Well, either way, it's very... If you've seen... I'm thinking of that skit that Jim Carrey did on SNL once where it's like the worst of Soul Train. His R&B song, that's what it sounds like.
You mean his Just One Titty song?
Yes, that song.
Okay.
That's what the singing sounds like, too.
No, it doesn't sound that bad.
I mean, no, I bet you... See, now I want to go back and replace the music with the Jim Carrey One Titty song and see how well it fits. I think it's going to fit pretty well. But no, like, what's funny here, not just the music, it's the fact that they're at this very nice, everybody's dressed up, Ayano's all dressed up, all of the other patrons there at the restaurant are wearing their finest tuxes and things like that. Ryo, no, just the regular coat and slacks that he always wears.
I mean, it's nice enough, I guess.
I mean, it's on the lower end of it. But it's not just that.
He didn't, I will agree, he didn't match Ayano's fit.
No,
right?
He didn't.
So...
But it's the fact that I guess they just got there, but they could have chosen to show us whatever part of dinner they were at, but all they're doing is drinking water.
They're just literally drinking out of fairly nice glasses, and they, cheers each other with these 2 glasses of water. And Kaori is still on the first boat, looking at them...
On the Leticia, yeah.
Looking at them through binoculars, look at him drinking water with this dressed up lady on a nice restaurant boat. But then Scientist Man is just like, no, why are you bothering to look at them? Look at all this fucking food I made for you.
And admittedly, JLT knows the way to some women's heart is through the stomach, because he's got a spread right here. Like, I'm looking at his...
He got fish, he got a whole boiled crab.
He's got 2 bottles of wine, and mind you, this is a French dude. That's French wine. That's the good shit. He's got, baked tarts and salad and a whole ass thing of paella. Like, they took the time to draw in all the parts of a paella. They had time. The reason the faces don't look so good at the beginning of the episode, all the detail went into the paella.
So, Kaori, don't be upset about this. Look at all of this food.
And he's got candles. He is trying...
3 candles.
This man is trying to mac on levels I have not seen in a very long time.
They have a whole boat to themselves.
I know. Dude's trying to get some. Let's not beat around the bush here. And then we go back over to Ryo and Ayano's date, and he doesn't seem to have any interest in Ayano beyond the beginning of the episode. He's just ordering all he can.
He's just like, oh man, you said food. I think actually, genuinely, if there is an order of importance, if there isn't food in front of him, then women are important.
Yes.
But if you put women and food in the same room, the food becomes more important than the woman is.
And apparently Ayano is so smitten with Ryo right now, she says, hey, it's on me. Order whatever you want.
And so he's eating like plates and plates and plates and
At
plates. At
least 7 empty plates, several empty bowls.
So the whole restaurant is looking at him, but they're actually not they're not shocked by it. They don't think he's weird or rude or anything. They're looking at him and smiling and laughing like, huh, this guy's real funny. Everybody's just really entertained, like, God, look at this guy put all this food away. Wow.
Wow, is this Kobayashi?
Kobayashi.
And so as he's getting ready to order another plate, 7's not enough, the endless soup and salad, like he's putting Olive Garden out of business right now is what he's trying to do. As he's getting ready to order another plate, he finally notices that Ayano is wearing that same necklace from the pool.
And she's like, oh yeah, I found this underwater in a boat while we were over in Hawaii, and I've just been wearing it because, like, isn't it great? This is a great necklace. I like this necklace. And now Ryo's finally like, huh.
Like now it's starting to click for him, and as it's starting to click for him, a bunch of gas canisters come bursting into the restaurant.
Well, damn it, I was eating the food here, and now it's all ruined by the gas. Well, I mean, at least now, probably nobody has to pay for this food, because now we're in a crisis.
Because the 3 dudes have returned with gas masks, and they're taking Ayano with them.
Damn it.
And so they jump on their jet skis, and they're trying to make off with her. Thankfully, everybody saw this happen. Kaori sees this happen from the boat. Ryo is about to try and chase after them, and Sayako is showing up late. Like, damn it, I got here too late. She's there as they're making off with Ayano.
How could you have been late? You knew about this yesterday.
But no, she's known about this for 2 days at least.
Maybe
at least 3. Maybe 3, yeah. So why the hell are you late? There's no way I can take that as anything other than she's being lazy.
Yeah, she's gotten really bad at this. We are in the territory now where I feel like every time Sayako shows up, she's the worst character. That did not used to be true. It used to be that whenever Sayako fucks over Ryo kind of deserved it, right? In the first half of this whole show, the entirety of the program, okay, she was well within her rights to fuck around with Ryo. Now we are at the point where it's like, what are you doing? Do your job.
Now you're just objectively bad at being a police officer.
And there's no reason for you to, like, not tell Ryo what is going on when you're just using him to help you do your own job. This doesn't make any sense anymore.
Like, it becomes less and less funny the more it's repeated, and more like, well, you're just not doing your job anymore. And I don't know if it's a time difference, like us watching it now in 2024, that it's not as funny to us.
No, I got tired of it after a while the first time too. And it's really largely because, at least at the beginning, when Sayako was no longer, like, she would pretend that she was gonna give him Mokkori times, okay, and then she'd pull the rug out from under him. At least during that time, she would tell Ryo what it is he needed to know about the case so that he could help her out. And now she's not even doing that. She's not even telling him anything about what the case is. She had the opportunity to do it the first day at the pool, and she was like, no, I'm not telling you anything, bye.
And see, here's the inconsistent thing about that. I'm glad you brought that up, is that you assume that she doesn't tell Ryo what's going on because she's trying to give chase after the 3 dudes, right? But here, at least 2 more times, she's there late after the 3 dudes. So what's going on?
I don't know.
How do you take that as anything other than her realizing, oh, Ryo's here? I don't have to do shit.
That's what it feels like. That's definitely what it feels like.
But yeah, I guess Ryo has to do everything, so he gets down to where these guys are with the sea dudes, and he manages to take one of them out. We don't know where he shot him. We just know he shot him.
It kind of looks like he got him in the knee. I don't think
he got him in the knee.
I don't think he's dead, but if you got him in the knee, it might be more difficult to swim, so he might drown. So who knows? He might live, he might not.
The point is, he needs his jet ski right now. Ryo has the jet ski, and he is now giving chase to the other 2 dudes. Sayako gets out of her car, finds a speedboat very quickly, and starts trying to get over to them. Kaori notices that Sayako is here with a speedboat. Kaori has a rocket launcher that she decided to bring with her for some weird reason.
And Kaori's like, hey, Sayako, let me on the boat. I got a rocket launcher.
She's like, okay. And it's like, what is it, the beginning of, was Uncharted 2 with the rocket launchers,
Something
right?
like that,
okay,
yeah.
It's like the beginning of Uncharted 2.
Well, no, the beginning of Uncharted 2 is them...
Or is it 1 I'm thinking of?
I think you're either thinking of 1 or 3. Because 2 is up in the Himalayas.
No, you're right. Oh, then I think it's 1. I actually think it's number 1.
Okay.
The first Uncharted game. Point being. So everybody's giving chase. The second guy, the guy who doesn't have Iono, is shooting back at Ryo, and Ryo doesn't have to do shit here. Because that dude's shooting back at Ryo, he doesn't even see where he's going, and he just crashes into a dinghy.
Yeah, he's just... This is just what you get for not looking where you're going. He got himself killed. I mean, maybe he lived. I don't know.
It could be. And then the third guy, Ryo just manages to shoot him in the shoulder, and Iono takes control of his jet ski, and now everybody's fine.
Except for the part where suddenly a helicopter is here.
Yes, the helicopter. We can't forget the helicopter.
It's always a helicopter.
Always a helicopter. And now usually, this is Ryo's sort of thing to deal with the helicopter, but the helicopter, whoever's in the helicopter, we don't know. We don't ever see who's flying the helicopter.
No.
We don't even know until the very end who any of these people are, right?
Yeah.
The helicopter starts opening fire on Iono, because again, they're after her for some reason.
Ryo really should have been able to stop this from happening. He should have been able to protect Iono. He didn't, though, because the helicopter guy shot the shit out of the jet ski under Iono, and now Iono is sinking to the bottom of the ocean.
Like her dress is caught on the sinking sea dew.
She's not coming back up. So now, here comes Sayako and Kaori is like, hey, I've still got this rocket launcher. Ryo, you go in after her. I'm gonna get the fuck out of this helicopter.
I do like that insofar as this shows the growth of her as city hunter, because up until this point, Ryo is the dedicated person who takes out the helicopter in any situation.
Yeah.
But leaving the helicopter to Kaori is a promotion.
That's true. And she gets him. She nails it.
I mean, she misses the first shot, and then she gets him on the second shot.
Yeah, she's got it, though.
But yeah, Kaori takes care of the helicopter, and whoever was in there jumped out, but they were so small, we couldn't even see who it was.
Yeah, I still don't know who was in there. Did he get arrested? I mean, maybe. We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know if Sayako did her fucking job or not.
But it doesn't matter. Ryo was able to get Iono back up to the surface, and he gives her mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, which she wakes up, and she's like, oh, you kissed me! And he's like, no, I learned that in French class.
I mean, he genuinely was not trying to play it off like, oh, yes, I did kiss you. He actually kind of pulls himself back like, no, that was CPR.
But of course, Kaori doesn't care about that. She just saw kissing.
And, hammer.
Hammer time.
We gotta bring out the hammer.
So then now we're back on the boat, and now we're getting the explanation from Sayako that she should have told everybody yesterday about what's going on.
This is a big old plot dump with literally only like 2 minutes left to go. Oh, that necklace? The necklace she got from the bottom of the ocean out in Hawaii? There was a guy...
A spy
from America, and he had that necklace... And it had information about, what was it? What was in the necklace?
She tells them...
What's in this necklace?
Okay. Here's what it was. The necklace belonged to an assassinated spy.
Assassinated spy
and
from
the necklace,
America.
The necklace is full of secrets from America from a biochem corporation.
From a biochem corporation, which... mind you, the necklace can project the information.
Yeah, because it's
somehow.
got this green gem that if you hold it up to the light, it projects out this, like, chemical formula and, like, some code.
The code, frankly, does not look like a biochemical formula. It looks like code in, like, C++.
But for, like, a video game.
Like a video game or something. And it's talking about cities and helicopters, and it specifies an Apache, I think.
Yeah, and then it says, like, at the top, like, player 1. So, like, we're pretty sure they pulled this code from somewhere. And then on the side, you see a DNA chain strand.
And so, like, these guys just really wanted the super secret spy biochemical code found at the bottom of the ocean in Hawaii.
From this assassinated spy that they probably killed. And apparently all these guys are part of this super secret organization that we're just now learning about.
Black Widow.
Called Black Widow.
And Thanks, Sayako. Anyway, like that, we're done. That's it.
That's all we get. That's as much as we.
What are you? That was so much information.
Like that was like a Mad Libs for what can we say this all was for? Chemical organization and secret spies, Black Widow, spy treasure,
Hawaii, bottom of the ocean, necklace, biochemicals, Apache helicopters. Oh my God, Sayako, please. So are you gonna arrest these guys? I don't know. Bye.
And okay, thanks a lot, Sayako. Screw you too. All right.
Did she take the necklace?
I guess. I don't know.
Who's got the necklace now?
I don't know. I didn't see her take it.
Oh my God.
But that's all we get about that. JLT and INO are like, thank you so much for helping us out. And JLT's asking Ryo, hey, would it be cool if we trade assistants?
Let's swap partners. And Ryo's like, yeah, I'm super down with that. And Kaori is still just very confused. Like, why are you not down with the partner that you have? And then INO too is like,
Papa, why would you say something like that? And he's like, shh, I told you not to use that name in front of everybody else. And they're like, what?
So this whole time, he's INO's dad.
It's INO's dad.
It's INO's dad. So he has very much banged a Japanese woman before in the past.
At some point, yes.
So no wonder he still is trying to mack on Japanese women. But not INO, because
that would be gross and wrong.
Because that would be incest. And he knows that. They both know that. So clearly, they were never concerned about that ever being a problem, but they never told anybody else that. So it's kind of weird, except it's not weird, because it wouldn't have been weird if they had just explained it. Nobody would have been weirded out. This is so dumb.
Yeah.
This is real dumb.
It's
weirder that you're not explaining it.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm trying to say. He tells INO, hey, that I told you not to use that in front of people. It ruins my ability to mac.
It's weird that I have such an old daughter. What do you mean it's weird? You are old enough to have a daughter of this age. That's not weird.
I know,
What's weirder is you hitting on a woman about the age of your daughter.
Yeah,
that's the weirder thing.
That's what it is right there, yeah. So they take off, they get on the boat, and they undock, and they head out to sea, and both of them are just kind of like, don't worry, we'll get them next time. INO will get Ryo, and the doctor over here will get Kaori, but they're just kind of saying that to themselves, and
they'll never come back.
And we'll never hear from them again. And Ryo and Kaori are there on the dock, and before Ryo hits his I'm about to freeze frame, because it's the end of the episode pose, he says, well, see that, Kaori? You are popular. In France.
In France.
And he's not wrong.
He's actually not. Yeah, I wonder if they knew that when they were making the episode.
I was going to ask, how quickly did they export this to France? That they could have potentially learned, we have a following over there.
But for whatever reason, this makes Kaori really mad, even though I would be like, you know what? Maybe I should just go to France and change my name to Laura. Yeah. That would work out really, really well for me.
Well, I'm going to follow you to France to make sure you don't get in trouble. I'm just going to change my name to Nikki. How about that, huh?
Anyway, Kaori has pulled out one more hammer. And actually, once again, hammer has the episode number on it.
It's 121 tons.
Episode 121. This is the 121st ever animated episode of City Hunter from season 1 to now. They keep doing that. They keep being exactly on the nose, knowing what their production order was.
So if you know what you're looking at, that's what we've got here. Episode 121 for City Hunter is what we just covered, and that's the end of the episode.
Flying through the sunrise.
All right, so it's not a bad episode.
No, as this season, as we've said multiple times already, greatest hits.
But this one doesn't feel bad. This one isn't greatest hits, though. This at least is its own standalone episode.
I mean, they're not in Shinjuku, at least, so that makes that different.
It is one of the. You're right. This is one of the few episodes that doesn't occur in Shinjuku.
Yeah.
Well, unless you count Hotel Sun City.
Yeah, but the bulk of the content of this episode is on the docks.
Right. On the boat.
On the boat. On a different boat. On
the ocean,
on a sea-doo,
on a jet ski, yeah. So, this one's fine. Ryo didn't actually grope anybody this week.
He tried and was not successful a single time.
But he didn't go through with it.
No, he did not.
So that's good points for Ryo this week.
Yeah. You had to stop him, but he stopped.
And then when he did the CPR, he didn't try to get a grope in.
No, he didn't.
He was actually mostly respectful.
Shockingly,
yes. Next week, I don't know if that's going to play nearly as well because there's some sort of detective story going on.
We're back to college-age girls.
Yeah, so there's going to be that.
I mean, at least she's an adult.
I know, but, you know, that's where Greatest Hits comes in.
They're still playing. In this episode, it was the same old soundtrack for the most part that it's been for the last, 3 years.
I know, it's just so weird that the one episode where we have French characters, they don't play the French accordion. No, we get this... Yeah, it was so weird. Like the one place that we could have swapped that out. Literally any other episode that probably would have fit better. But no, this is where they chose to do it.
So come back next time when we cover the 8th episode of City Hunter 3. Who the heck is Rio? Even the college girl is smitten with the thrill.
And if you want to catch us outside this podcast, you can always find us both over on most social media. I'm at JoshKnightTheFirst.
And I'm at MarzGurl. Thank you all so much for listening to our 123rd episode of MokkoriPlay. And if you don't come back next episode, I'm taking Josh to college.
The hell you are? I ain't going back.
You still got a loan to repay.
Yeah, don't remind me. I'll pay that off, but I ain't going back. You can't make me.